First of all, I gotta get my character sheet. I gotta blow all the thick layer of dust off it.
Yeah, I'm hoping I remember. Like, I really crammed for the rules like 2 months ago. Hopefully, I can remember it all still. Now I'm looking to see if the meteor is coming because we are actually all online for what is theoretically a Blades in the Dark session. Okay, we're still alive so far. Good.
So far.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just say it. April has been really, really weird and rough. So
yeah. All right. Well, I'll try not to screw it up. So we can do this, I guess. So this will be kind of an introductory session. It'll be a little different than normal Blades in the Dark in that I'm going to sort of railroad you into an adventure just to get, or a job to give you a taste of it. If we keep going on it, you will actually set a lot more of the agenda than the GM coming in with a dungeon or an adventure ready to go. But for our learning purposes, we'll do it kind of this way. And for our learning purposes, we'll start off with a little prologue that, if you even remember, Jenny, weeks and weeks ago, you committed to do. Yes. So what I'll do is set up a little scene here that'll give a little taste of the city, Duskwall, and set up our first couple of die rolls. And the way the system is meant to work, the die rolls will be quick and we won't need to belabor the rules. But for our introductory purposes here, I will very carefully belabor the rules step by step so we know how they work for future reference.
Appreciate it.
And things will, instead of explaining the rules all at once, you'll kind of get them in action here. And then we'll meet your characters in a bit too. So if you're ready, we can dive in.
Let's get.
Okay, and so Jenny's character, Silver, as we set out here, is going to go visit her very strange, odd couple type friend, Bajo Baz, who runs a low-life group called the Lamp Blacks. He helped her get into a life of crime. She is helping him as a person of noble origin with etiquette lessons so he can get a higher class of employer in the future. So as we set out, she is going to meet with him in the fancy Charter Hall district at a tea shop. And he apparently has a job in mind for you guys. Here we go. Your lantern barely cuts through the mist as you leave the hideout. The gas lights haven't been lit here in years, and the new electroplasmic lights haven't been installed anywhere close to here, which is part of why your hideout is here in the first place. You make your way to the main street leading to the Charter Hall district. The closer you get, the more lights there are cutting through the fog. By the time you get to the bridge over the canal, you can see even without your lantern. After crossing the bridge, you're bathed in an unnatural yellow glow, a blue coat portable floodlight shining from a crime scene across the street to the right. 2 crows circle noisily overhead. 2 crows means the spirit bell rang twice. 2 people are dead. Sure enough, bronze-masked spirit wardens are loading 2 large bags into their goat-drawn cart. They work quickly to get to the crematorium before the spirits break loose from the bodies. At the door to a tidy-looking 2-story house, one of the famously incorruptible inspectors has a heated discussion with a captain of the famously corrupt Bluecoats. Distracted by the unusual scene, you almost walk straight into the perimeter guard, a trio of rookies in ill-fitting Bluecoat uniforms. You see the universal look of calculation in their eyes as they size you up. Can we get some money out of this one without getting into trouble? The apparent leader of this little squad turns her cap to a jaunty angle, steps up to you and says, "You're currently in the act of trespassing in the midst of an active crime scene under a current state of investigation. That's an arrestable offense, but the acting officers, that is to say, us, have the discretion to assess a substantive fine, payable to the care and stewardship of the acting officers, the aforementioned us." She and her colleagues eagerly await your response. What do you do?
Okay. Can you tell me the House of Nobles that we mentioned before that might be allies?
Sure. Yeah, Lord Rowan was the Rowans are an allied house that everybody seemed kind of favorable to, except with the exception of Colin, and we don't need to worry about him.
Yeah, because he's just. I say to them, "Why, certainly, you can settle your accounts with my good friend Lord Rowan. Okay. I'm sure he'll be happy to pay."
All right, so I've just set up the situation, and Jenny has given the narrative explanation of what she's doing. And this is going to take us to our first die roll.
Yes.
Now, the first step, I'm going to go step by step. You would state your goal, but clearly you want to get by them without having to pay a bribe. I
Correct.
imagine. And now here's an interesting thing. In a lot of games, the GM would say, roll your dexterity or roll your whatever. The player actually suggests which of your different action ratings, your attributes, the attune, command, and so on, you think applies best here. Okay.
I'm thinking that this would be a case where I am finessing them.
Okay. Finessing, that can be, that could work. Sometimes it's more for like physical sleight of hand. But I think that would be appropriate.
In that case, sway would be a good one.
Mm-hmm. Sway would definitely be appropriate. That's kind of more of a talking one. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that one.
That sounds good. And so note there, Jenny chose ultimately which action rating to use. As GM, I might give advice like if she said she's going to try to talk her way past them by using her rec attribute, we might need to puzzle out why that might be less effective, but she could still try to roll it. But sway seems like it fits pretty well. So we'll move on from there.
So we can be a complete jerk to you.
You could, but I get to set the next couple of steps here.
Sure.
I'm going to set go ahead.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
So the way I handled that, I probably should have said, rather than just go straight into what my narrative was, I should have said I would like to try to sway them.
Oh, you could definitely do it either way.
Okay.
You can give the narrative and then the attribute you want to choose, or the attribute and then the narrative. Either way is fine.
Okay.
And whatever feels natural in the flow, honestly. So yeah, that was just fine. So now I set the position, and that kind of says how risky this is going to be for you. There's controlled, which means it's pretty safe. Risky is kind of the default setting. It's the middle ground. Desperate is the most dangerous one, and maybe we'll try a roll like that in a bit. The bonus of desperate, it exposes you to more harm, but you get an experience point when you do desperate actions, because that's what this game is all about. I would say at first, maybe I'd say this is kind of risky. If they don't buy it, you could be in trouble. But I looked at your character sheet. You had indicated some of the items you might be carrying or wearing, which you don't have to do in advance, but I kind of took it as your basic setup. Mm-hmm. You can always look at your gear in any kind of role situation and see if there's something that might be helpful.
Well, I do have some trance powder.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, I like that. I was thinking of your fancy clothes, but trance powder is even better.
That too. I mean, I could probably give him some jewelry if worse comes to worse, but I'd rather try to not pay them at all.
Of course. So, well, I was going to say with your fancy clothes, that might actually bump up your position to controlled, because like on the off chance that you are somebody important, even if they don't believe you, they're not going to want to expose themselves to risk. But I love the idea of using your trance powder for the next step. Okay, and that's effect level. Okay. Effect level determines how effective your action is going to be if it's successful. And so this is where if you try to do something impossible, like I'm going to use wreck to punch my way through this stone wall. I would say the effect level is basically negligible. You would need to come up with tools or your gang or some other things that are going to bump up your effect. In this case, I'd say using your trance powder, your effect would be great. Like if you succeed in your role, you are right past them without any consequence. Mm-hmm. And note with those goods, like her fancy clothes, there's nothing in the rules that says fancy clothes give you +1 position on social interactions. Mm-hmm. I might say if this situation was she was trying to bargain with a merchant by saying she was too poor to pay for something, the fancy clothes might actually make it less effective, for example. All right, so let's go to a die roll now. Okay. How many dots do you have in your sway?
2. Okay,
so you're going to roll 2d6. We're going to ignore the sum of them, though. The way die rolls work in this is we look at the higher number. Okay. 1 through 3 is a failure. 4 to 5 is yes, but. And 6 is full-on success. More than 1 6 is a critical success.
Okay.
Okay. So you got a 5, which would be yes, but. So the guards with that trance powder, that makes it pretty good. You get 2 of the 3 of them with the trance powder, and your story and your clothes match up pretty well. They're kind of persuaded, but here is where I would, and we're not actually gonna, I think, note anything down here. you would get some kind of consequence from the not quite full on success. And one option is, I would say, the leader of the three who isn't tranced looks at you kind of suspiciously, and I'm going to say we're going to start a clock here. And that's another element of the rules. Each character and the crew can get a clock. And I'm going to say this is a suspicion clock. And if you look on your character sheets and the crew sheet, you can see one. We would have a little one with 6 slots in it, and we're going to tick off just one because this wasn't too bad. And once that is full, you would have +1 heat for your crew. So this would be a consequence. And so clocks in this game can work in a lot of different ways. They can be good or bad, but as it fills up, once it gets to the last mark, I'll just mark this one for now. And so now, as you get more police suspicion in different ways through the game, you might get 1 heat, which gives you bad things after you get done with the job. But that was enough to persuade them. They go back to patrolling the perimeter, and you're able to move along your way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's rewind.
I see the heat thing there. Okay, got it.
Let's rewind now. I had asked you via email to come up with something stupid and or desperate that you're bad at, so we could see how that works. And this is like a fictional, imaginary thing, just to demonstrate a bad roll, hopefully.
Okay, let's see here. I have no attune. What is attune?
Attune is where you try to tap into the mystical thing that the mystical energy field that connects ghosts and magical energy and things like that. You could try to punch your way out, which would be skirmish. You could, I don't know, whatever you're bad at.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at skirmish. So yeah, let's say I slap the leader in the face really hard.
Nice. Okay. So this is what every citizen of Duskwall would imagine doing in this situation.
Right.
Okay. Now you have, I believe, 0 dots in skirmish.
I have 0 skirmish.
Okay. That doesn't mean you can't do it. What it means is you're going to roll 2 dice, but take the lower of the 2.
Is it 2d6 again?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I'll explain why that isn't as scary as it may sound as you all look at all the blanks on your character sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 1, that's a massive failure, which is great. And this isn't really happening. This is just the imaginary thing. So what I might say there is, yeah, you slap the leader across the face. After a moment of being stunned, the three patrol officers start to attack you, and a skirmish breaks out. After a few moments, you hear the captain of the guard say, "What are you 3 doing over there? I said no reporters on the crime scene. There's 2 over here. Leave her alone and get the hell over here."
Oh, that was lucky.
Yeah. But unlucky in that I would say you get a physical consequence. Let's say I say you got a concussion out of the deal.
Oh, that sucks.
A mild concussion. So now you would, don't mark this because this didn't really happen, but where you see harm on your character sheet,
Yep.
at level 1, you would write in mild concussion.
Okay.
And that's going to give you less effect on future things.
Okay.
But hold on. Anytime I assign, this is important for all of you, anytime I assign you a negative consequence, you can resist it. And it always works. It either gets rid of the harm if it's not too bad, or it lowers it by 1 level. Or with that heat thing, you could have gotten rid of it. So that's pretty cool. But it costs you. What it costs you is 6 stress minus a die roll. So I'd like you, Jenny, to look at your character sheet off to the right where you see the word prowess. Where you've got finesse, prowl, skirmish, and wreck.
Yeah, I've got all of those. Prowess, yeah, I've got it.
Okay. So if you look at the first line of dots underneath it, like how many of those 4 do you have at least 1 dot in? And that's going to determine
of finesse, prowl, skirmish, and wreck?
Correct.
I have 2 in finesse, and that's it.
Okay. So you get 1 die for your resistance roll. But, and this is a good thing to remember, don't ever let me forget it. One of the things you guys took as Sun Chasers was Forged in the Fire. You've all been toughened by cruel experience. You get +1 die to resistance rolls.
Oh.
So this will be the last roll in our little prologue here. So again, you've got your 1 in your finesse there, +1 for your crew bonus. You're going to roll 2 dice. And again, we'll take the higher of the 2.
Okay, so am I doing roll 2d6 plus
Again.
anything?
Nope, just
Okay.
always just 2d or just d6. Yeah.
There we go.
6.
Nice.
Okay, so that's perfect. So you would get 6 stress, but you subtract 6 stress from it.
Oh,
so
so I
you
don't do
actually, by resisting that, you take 0 stress. Now, stress, everybody can take up to 9. Once you hit 9, you get to erase them all, but then take your choice of trauma.
Yay.
And that, if you ever get 4 traumas, your character has to retire.
Oh.
What else can you do with stress? Well, remember when Jenny had no dots in skirmish? You can spend 2 stress to push. And when you push, one of your options is to add 1 die. So in that situation, she could have, instead of rolling 2 dice and taking the worst roll, just straight up rolled 1. In her first roll, she could have pushed and rolled 3 dice instead of 2. You can also push to increase the effect. So that's, as you're trying to break down that wall, you can get a little closer to do it by pushing. Also, if your buddies were with you, you can always have one person can always spend 1 stress to assist you and give you 1 die on a roll. And one nice thing there is, say you're in a big fight and you have no fighting skills at all. So making rolls yourself is going to suck. You can use your teamwork. You can use your spending a stress to give an extra die to somebody who's good at fighting. Give them 3 dice instead of 2 or something like that.
Huh.
So that's our little prologue there. You go on to meet Bajo Baz. You have some tea.
wait.
Tell him to hold his pinky up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have the special ability of mesmerism, and it says when you sway someone, you may cause them to forget that it's happened until they next interact with you.
Nice. Yes, you could actually do that in this case.
Okay.
And that would actually get rid of that heat clock that I assigned you.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, always watch for those special abilities. That's a good idea.
Okay, so I meet with Bazo.
Yeah, and we won't actually play that out. The short, you meet with him, you have tea, you give him some etiquette advice, and he tells you about this job that somebody came to him with, but it's a little too weird and it's not in their normal territory, and he thought it'd be a good fit for you and your gang of weirdos. And he says, if you're interested, he can set up a meet with the representative of the group in question. It is the job for the Circle of Flame, a group of sort of dissolute aristocrat types who do weird arcane things. And he says they need some muscle, and he thinks you'd be a good fit for it. So he can set up a meeting if you're interested.
I don't know. Let's see. Is this? Does he have anything else?
No.
Or is that the only one?
So this is the one. This is the part where I'm railroading you guys into my Unwanted adventure. So please take it.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
We'll take it on. What do we do?
Okay. And so the deal is, and we're bringing everybody in now. The person who arranges things for the Circle of Flame wants to meet with the entire crew, which seems, a little unusual, but apparently she wants to get a feel for who she's working with. So if you want, we can proceed to all of you now and our opening scene where you get this job given to you. All right. And pretty soon we'll get to the part where I don't do all the talking. So you go to the house of the Circle of Flame, also in the Six Towers district where your headquarters in. You're escorted into a sitting room, complete with couches, divans, side tables, and end tables. It looks like the sort of arrangement where you might be served tea and cookies. There are no tea and cookies. Your host and contact is seated in a chair with a commanding position in the room. A formidable-looking middle-aged woman. At first glance, she'd fit right in as the matron of a dignified dinner and dance at any mansion in the city. At second glance, you think again when you see her eyes. They don't fit. Each eye has its own shape, color, and size. It looks like they were retrofitted years after initial construction. You sense that she's not blind, but the world she sees looks very different from the one you're looking at. After you settle into your seats, she welcomes you. I am Madame Volyova. I am tasked with handling certain worldly matters so that my patrons can focus on more elevated endeavors. I make it a point to become acquainted with those with whom we do business. So please introduce yourselves. Tell me what talents you bring to your organization, and do be kind and describe yourselves to an old woman whose eyes don't see the way they once did.
Classic.
So let's have each of you introduce yourself in turn. Let's start in my order on here. How about Helena Vale?
I'm Gunn. If you could see me, I'm fairly tall. I got a nice big long coat, tricorn hat. I'm what you might call a weapons expert, I suppose, for the group. and that's just what I do.
She nods toward Rip Slagcheek.
Rip Slag Cheek. He appears to he or she a little ambiguous. Just completely covered in a gray coat, thick wool hat. Mostly all you can see are eyes and nose, and just enough of the mouth so you can hear them clearly. I speak with spirits.
Intriguing. And she nods to the little fellow in the room, Wee Willie Two Teeth.
That's William Two Teeth. Nobody
she doesn't
calls
say
him
the name.
Nobody calls him Wee Willie.
All right.
And if you're to see him, he's about 4 feet 11 tall. He's very small and slight, like a child. Hence his nickname, Wee Willie Two Teeth. He's perpetually sooty. So just think of a Dickensian child. He's Dickensian to a fault. And he grew up here in Akoros, in the Coleridge district, from a long family of miners, where he has perfected his craft of demolition. You want something removed, he can do it. And he can do it very, very quietly.
Oh, that could be useful for the job at hand. Thank you. And you, she looks at Seymour.
Yeah. Seymour is kind of tall and lanky in a black pea coat and a black felt, not like a tall top hat, but kind of a shorter top hat type hat. And yeah, he is kind of into scheming and planning and coming up with some plans to get things done.
A schemer and planner. That's my kind of person. And finally you. And we're back to Silver, who started this whole thing.
And I am the average height, striking-looking Eruvian woman with silver hair. Eruvia, I believe, is a desert nation, from what I remember from way back when. So I was thinking sort of a vaguely Middle Eastern look, but
Sure.
with the silver hair, and the fine clothing and jewelry is like loose silks, and I have a lower face mask. Everything is in shades of gray and silver, hence the name. I am the eldest daughter of a noble family who fled an arranged marriage, and I have sort of used my noble upbringing and knowledge of etiquette and knowledge of how the rich people work to make connections and network and persuade people to do things and listen to all the gossip.
After all of your introductions, Madame Volyova launches a series of follow-up questions and questions about your group and what almost seems like a relevant side chit-chat. And Seymour, as a spider, you see that she is your kind, and you get the gist of what's going on here. You've got the job that she's going to offer today. But as she talks to all of you, she is scouting you out, looking to the future to see what your group will be in relationship to hers. Will you be partners, pawns, or prey someday in the future? As a spider, you might be able to sway this conversation to impress her. What do you want? Do you want to just let it roll until she comes to the point and talks about the job, or do you want to try to influence her perception of the group?
I would let her lead the conversation, but I would try to not flirt, but engage in some verbal banter and try to be kind of witty and just have a little bit of verbal jousting with her.
Okay,
If
so
you know what I mean.
this could, sure, absolutely,
Yep.
and this can lead to a die roll with a couple of options. Let's try a die roll. You've just described what you're trying to do. What of your 12 skills there do you think might be a good fit for that? And we can discuss
I
that.
think either sway or consort
Mhm.
would both make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think either of them would work, and I think you have 2 dots in both of them, so it
I
may
have
not
2
matter
dots in
too.
both of them. I'm gonna try consort because we've
Okay.
already had a sway roll.
Sure. And now I'm going to give you a choice.
Mhm.
You could try to kind of do this on your own, and that's going to have some effect, but limited effect. Or you can try to guide the whole group in this, and this would introduce a new rule of the group rule, group roll, lead a group. Everybody would make a roll. Success or failure would depend on the leaders, yours in this case, but then you would take 1 stress for each 1 to 3 result. And working as a team in this way, you realize you would impress her more. Like she would know if you were just trying to cover for everybody else.
Yeah, that's something like Seymour would absolutely try to guide the entire conversation. So, yeah.
Okay, so you're going to try
I'd
the
love to
team
try that.
roll.
Yes.
Okay, so everybody have a look at your. Let's see. Yeah, consort makes sense. You're in a friendly, jovial setting, and it sounds like you are being kind of upbeat and fun about it.
Yeah.
So let's have you make your roll for success or failure first, Seymour. So that's with 2 dice. Remember, you could, if you want to use stress already, push it to get a 3rd die.
No, I'll
Someone
just
else
take
could.
that 6.
Okay, that sounds good. Yes, indeed. Okay, now that's going to be a success. Now everybody else have a look at your consort. Let's and roll whatever it is. Remember, if you have 0 in that, you're rolling 2 dice and taking the lower one. But if you want to give Seymour a chance of avoiding some stress, you could ask somebody else to spend a stress to help you out and kind of cover your part of the conversation.
I might need some help with that.
Well, Helena rolled a wow.
So Helena's not going to give you any stress.
That's a critical success. Does that matter for anything in this?
It doesn't in this case, sadly,
okay.
no. Right for this one, everybody's just trying to avoid 1 through 3 to not rack up stress for you, Seymour. You're looking pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it, Calm. Just roll your roll.
Yeah, so you would roll 1 die.
I take 1 stress from Calm.
Yep.
It's just like real
from
life.
William. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Actually, only 1 stress from Calm's not too bad.
Do you guys have me?
And then we need a roll from Silver. With
Right,
your...
and I just said I have 1 point in.
Okay,
in
so you would roll
consorts.
1 die for that, yeah.
Oh, so just 1d6. All
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
2.
Oh, okay. So you would mark down 2 stress here, Seymour, but you did swimmingly. You see as you go on, she is quite impressed. She sees that you're not just a lowly band of thugs, but are maybe somebody she could see treating as equals. So I would say, let's start a good clock for the Sun Chasers group, and I'll mark it down. It's going to be a 4-segment clock, and we're going to tick off 3 segments. So one more good thing is going to boost your relationship with the Circle of Flame. You've impressed them quite well. And while we wait there, I'll point out this particular mechanism. Like, think of all the times in role-playing games where, all right, we all need to hide, or we all need to sneak through this thing, or whatever. And 2 people are really good at sneaking, but the people who suck at it blow it for everybody. This is to cover that kind of situation where the person who's good at things takes the lead and just pays a little cost in terms of stress to make it happen.
I think I'm back here, guys. So I ended up taking 2 stress as the result of all of that, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I've got that marked down. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So getting through that, she is ready to tell you about the job. And she says, it involves Lord Skurlock. And he is that guy. People think he's maybe a vampire or a demon or some kind of wizard guy who's kept himself alive literally for centuries and kind of has his fingers in a lot of different things around town. She says, Madame Volyova, Lord Skurlock's minions are working on a mysterious project in an abandoned manor house here in 6 Towers. It's uncertain to us what they're doing in there, but we know they've moved in a substantial amount of things, and various kinds of staff are in and out of the place all hours of day and night. We believe it all involves some kind of arcane activity. If you accept this commission, we would like you to go in and see what they are doing and bring back a description of it. And of course, render it inoperable as thoroughly as you can. While we do value subtlety on many occasions, this is not one of those occasions. Anything you find inside and are willing and able to carry out is yours to dispose of as you see fit. we will pay more than adequately for the successful completion of this task. And she names an amount. In game terms, it amounts to 7 coin, which is a pretty good job. Depending on how you split it, that could fill up your coffers, or you could split it between you, or however you'd want to do it. It's a good chunk of cash. She goes on, our associates have gathered information by observing the manor house. In this dossier, you will find information about entrances to the building, the schedule of arrivals and departures of people and equipment. Note that there are other arrivals and departures that do not appear to follow that schedule. Are you willing to undertake this commission?
I think I could be amenable.
I say yes. I believe we're all amenable to this. We'll get you your information, and you will pay us handsomely. And I reach forward to shake her hand.
And just to clarify, we are basically screwing over Lord what's his name, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
Good, because Lord, little known fact, he was the one they wanted to marry me to.
Oh my God. That would be horrible.
Yep.
I would go with that Bluebeard fella instead. He seems way nicer. Yeah, that would be harsh. Okay. Do you have any questions for Madame Volyova before we move on to the next scene?
No.
Okay. So now, this is the point in the game where you would talk for a while and you'd hash out the exact details of a particular plan, right? Instead, in Blades in the Dark, what we're going to do is you're going to choose what you want to do here, and we'll move that along to our engagement roll. There is an option for some open play where you could do some spying and scouting and things like that. That's covered in this dossier that she provided. That's the kind of information that you might get with some gather information rolls and things like that. So here, there are 6 different ways to go about a job in game terms.
I'm sorry, can I...
Oh, yes.
Just going back a second, did she shake my hand?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Wonderful.
She did.
Then,
she pauses a moment, considers, and nods and shakes your hand.
Yes. When that happens, we both bear a mark of our oath. If either of us breaks the contract, they take level 3 harm.
Ooh, okay. That's nice.
Just throwing that out there in case she's thinking about double crossing us later.
Excellent. I will say, and this is actually kind of defined in the game, they very strongly recommend against the GM having the, oh no, we're not going to pay you sort of thing at the end.
Oh, sure.
Because life is hard enough for you guys as it is. And also, in my my game term explanation of that is the criminal activity, there's a lot of crime in Duskwall, but the community is small enough that everybody knows about everybody else. So if you start screwing over people you hired, nobody else is going to come and back you up next time.
I just really wanted to use my ghost.
Oh, no, I think it's it's a cool thing. I love it. Okay. So there are 6 different approaches to a job. Not all of them make sense for all jobs. Here they all are, though. Assault. Do violence to a target. Deception. Lure, trick, or manipulate. Stealth. Trespass unseen. Occult. Engage a supernatural power. Social. Negotiate, bargain, or persuade. And this one doesn't make much sense in this context. Transport, carry cargo or people through danger. We can, I think, discard that one. So now the decision you have to make is assault, deception, stealth, occult, or social as your approach to go into this building and do this job.
I mean,
talks amongst yourselves.
I'd be inclined to try to. Well, in our dossier is. So we can either try to talk our way in and then start sneaking around, or just start sneaking around from the beginning, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so assault might look something like we're walking up to the front door, blowing it up, and shooting.
Yeah.
Deception.
We have a strange reputation, our crew, and also just because of who my character is. Like, Rip is going to favor trying to engage some otherworldly or otherwise strange and unusual methods.
Okay.
And I'm all.
Well, how do you propose
breaking and entering?
Sounds like most people would like a direct approach. Which is fine.
And when you say breaking or entering, that could be stealth. Like, we're going to break in an upstairs window and get in undetected, or we're going to break down the front door as noisily as possible.
No, I'm a tiny guy. I'm talking about as surreptitiously as possible.
Do you want to sneak in and open a door for us? Go in through a window and open a door?
I could do that.
And I
So
would be like the lookout decoy.
I'm already picking out my my loadout gear for this.
I could go knock on the front door and distract whoever's at the front door while you guys open a door on the backside.
I would be amenable to that.
Do you want me to go with you, Seymour?
I would take someone with me. And honestly, if I'm sorry, Brent, also known as
Gun.
Gun. If you want to go with William, and then I'll take Silver with me. That sounds amenable.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like this is stealth. Trespassing unseen. So the detail we need here is the point of infiltration. So in the dossier, I mean, they gave you a lot to work with, including you can time it to coincide with the changing of the people in there or to avoid it so that there's not the fewest number of people. But also there's an upstairs window that seems to be gone. It's open, and there's a neighboring taller building that leans up right close to it. So that would be one point of access. It's near a canal, and there's a sub canal that goes in right under the building. There's always some drains or something like that on these old manor houses. That might be a point of entry for the infiltrators.
I don't particularly fancy mucking around in the sewers myself. If we can avoid getting wet and, sewer gators.
I could bring my climbing gear and get in that window.
Okay.
I am suspicious of an open window at a place that is otherwise guarded. Why is it so obviously available? I think I should accompany you.
Suits me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm actually going to jot this down. Who was the distraction party up front?
Myself and
Silver.
Seymour and Silver, and then team infiltrate is Gun, William, and sorry, I don't have all your names down yet. Rip. Okay, so now, picture a montage sequence. You guys have pasted up all the things from this dossier on the wall. You're talking things out, planning your points of entry, packing your gear, and things like that. And it all culminates in our engagement roll. So here's our rules for the engagement roll.
Do we need to figure out our loadout first?
No.
Not yet. Okay.
I'll have you do that. Oh, wait, actually, let's do that before the engagement roll. So yeah, you pick your loads now. You don't have to pick your gear, but you're going to pick light load, medium load, and so on your sheet. And this should be off to the right. Light, normal, or heavy. There it is. That's going to be how much gear, how many points you get to spend along the way. And I should explain loads. Light, you are unencumbered. And as you're walking around town, nobody would notice that you look weird or out of place. Heavy, you're loaded down. You've got so much stuff that it's affecting how able you are to move, and it's going to be clear that you're going to do something. Normal, for thug types like you, interested passersby or blue coats or whatever would look at if they saw a group of 5 people with normal load, they might think about that. They would think you're up to something to no good. But you are up to no good, so maybe you do want that.
You are up to no good, exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to need my climbing gear. So that's 2 right there.
Oh.
And then I don't know if I want to bring my fine wrecking tools or my demolition tools.
Again, you don't need to pick it now. Yes.
Okay.
The game goes right to the job, and then there's a couple different sort of flashbacky type mechanisms, including your load.
I'm really enjoying picking these because they're cool.
Oh yeah, it's fun. But you get to pick along the way, which is even cooler.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Engagement.
Has everybody picked your load size?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So here's our engagement roll, and this is going to determine your starting position: desperate, risky, or controlled. The base roll is 1d. Major advantage: you can get bonus dice for a few different things. Now, you could do this by scouting out a site first. Your employer did that for you in this time, so you're going to get a die from that. So you're at 2 dice. Then we'll ask some questions here. Is the operation particularly Bold or daring?
I think it kind of is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's
Particularly
bold and
bold?
daring, but I don't know particularly.
We don't have any benchmark to compare to.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I think it's pretty bold. I'm going to give it bold. So you're up to 3 dice now. That's pretty cool. Does the plan's detail expose a particular vulnerability of the target, hit them where they're weakest? Well, I know that one. I'm going to say no, but it won't hit them where they're strongest either. Friends, contacts provide aid or insight. That's the dossier. The target is lower tier than yours. It is not. It's Lord Skurlock. District modifiers, there are none. So that's your plus. You got 3 dice. Hold on. Disadvantages. Operation is overly complex or contingent on many factors.
I don't think
We've
We've
so.
got 2 factors going, and mine is kind of just a cherry on top. I don't know.
You knock on the door, you sneak in. That seems pretty damn straightforward, honestly. The target is strong against this approach. No, not particularly. Enemies, rivals interfering in this operation. No, I know that one. The target is a higher tier. Yes, Lord Skurlock's crew is a higher tier than yours, so that's going to be -1 die. So that brings you to 2 dice for your engagement roll. Who wants to make it?
William.
Okay. Do I get to use any of my insight or such?
Nope.
Or is
This
it
is
just a
this is
straight
for the
roll?
crew. Yep, exactly.
Oh, do we get any possible available bonuses? No.
That's what we just kind of went through there.
Okay, so that's all I meant from the other players.
Oh, are
Okay.
we able
we
to
will.
stress
Hey,
ourselves
so
for
this is
the
not.
planning?
You're not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Are we able to stress ourselves for the planning?
Not in this case. No. This is
Okay.
this is what they call a fortune roll.
Okay. 2d6. Here we go.
5. Okay. No, that's pretty. So oh no, it's a 3. Sorry, I looked at the result.
3.
Okay. So it's a desperate position. Okay. Now here's where I have to start GMing. All right. Team 1 goes up and knocks at the door. That was the plan, right? I don't want to put words in your mouth. Okay. You knock on the door, and it is immediately opened by a huge man with a wrestler's build and a bowler hat. This guy looks like you've seen, they have wrestling competitions in town. He looks the guy who would step in if the wrestlers got out of control and needed someone to wrangle them. He opens the door, balances the small bowler hat on his huge head, and looks you over. The hell you want?
I'm going to say, good afternoon, my fine sir. Me and my associate here are door-to-door globe salesmen. Would you like to see our excellent globes?
Okay, hold that thought. Team sneak in. Describe how you're going up to that window. Were we going in through that leaning building next door or climbing in from the ground?
Yeah, I think that I kind of imagine like a zipline scenario kind of getting set up.
There's a leaning building next door. Then we take that.
Okay.
I concur with that. We go with that and zip line it.
Okay.
I will throw across a small coil of rope with a grappling hook at the end of it and secure that to the leaning building. Unless, is it jumpable or no? Let's do that. We'll do it. We're going to do a line across.
Okay. You get the line across, no problem. The window, as described, is wide open. It leads into a small room you could see from over here. I didn't ask if you're doing this at day or night, but honestly, there isn't a hell of a lot of difference in Duskwall. It's just pretty dark and gloomy.
I assume it's at night.
Yeah, so it's a little darker, but it's still misty as hell. So you've got that thing secured. You've got the open window, and then what are you doing to get in? Who's going first?
We Willies should go first. I mean, I'm the smallest.
But nobody calls you that.
I'm the smallest, and I'm calling myself that. Okay. I'm the smallest and most inconspicuous. Although, why should you go first? Tell me.
Well, I can prowl pretty dang. I can be pretty dang quiet if I need to be.
Yeah, you go first.
All right.
All right. As Gun starts to slide across the way, Rip sees a purple rippling gleam in the open window. The sign that there's some sort of electroplasmic force there. You just glimpse this as as Gun is, where do you wrap, or how are you sliding in down the rope, or hand over hand, or how are you going?
I kind of imagined hand over hand sounds good to me.
So Rip, Gun is gone hand over hand, is about to sneak to swing in through the window when you detect this purple glint. Hold the thought. Okay, you back at the front door, Seymour, you gave your globe salesman spiel to the big uber wrestler dude. Sounds like a die roll to persuade him. But let's pause there for a moment. Let's introduce one more rule, and that's the flashback. So in this game, instead of carefully describing all the things you've done in advance and all the gear you're carrying, you can decide what you're carrying in your load anytime during the job. And you have the option, and I'm not saying you have to do it now, you could do a flashback, which is something that happened before this. It's not time travel. You can't unknock on the door. You can't make this wrestler guy disappear. But you can invoke a flashback to help set you up for this scene if you wanted to. It comes at a cost. 0 stress for a super ordinary action for which you had easy opportunity. 1 stress for a complex action or an unlikely opportunity. 2 stress for an elaborate action that involves special opportunities / contingencies. Do you want to roll straight up for your attempt to pass as a common globe salesman, or do you want to think about trying a flashback, the two of you?
I want to try a flashback.
Okay.
This is really cinematic. It's really fun.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want a moment? I can cut back to the other scene while you think about the sort of thing you'd want to do.
I kind of got an idea here.
Okay, go for it.
So yeah, I want to flashback and put together my fine cover identity, which I imagine would be pretty easy to do with some threadbare suits from Goodwill. And then running around and finding a couple of cheap globes to carry with us.
Okay.
I'm
go
not
ahead.
sure they're going to buy that I'm a globe salesperson. I'm rather
Well,
nicely dressed.
when we have you in a fine cover identity and a generic suit from Goodwill.
Well, I have a fine disguise kit, so there you go.
Oh, okay.
What if you are? What if you're like his manager on his first trip out, and you're rating him?
Right.
I could do that.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to say that's going to cost you for that, and the time it goes by to get the items. You'd have a choice of paying 1 stress to do it, or paying. Well, you're going to take all the stress, or just to get the goods. This is kind of a downtime flashback of shopping. You could pay 1 coin. And I don't remember if you guys get to start with any coin personally. Is that marked on your sheets?
In my backstory, I would not. I'd be flat broke.
Okay.
But I don't know if on your sheet.
Jewelry for you.
Oh, you don't need to pawn jewelry. Fuck it, I'll take a stress.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe you shoplifted stuff or wheedled things out of people. Okay. So you've got that cover story. That sounds pretty good. Are you trying to gain entry into the place with your cover story? Or just try to keep somebody occupied at the door?
I'm trying to get him occupied at the door. What I would actually try to do is I would probably try to confuse him and talk circles around him and get him to call someone else to the door to stand there with him. If I could get 6 people at the door all talking to me, that would make my day.
Okay, so what action rating do you think you would use that?
I would, again, probably try to... Well, this might be a little bit more of a sway than a consort.
That kind of makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do some verbal gymnastics to, if this is the kind of guy I'm picturing, get him to start scratching his head.
Yep.
And say, hey, Lenny, come here.
And keep in mind that I have a really high sway as well. I mean, I've got 2 points in sway.
Yeah, and so what you could do, what Silver could do is now use the teamwork ability. What's it technically called? Anyway, you can help him by spending 1 stress to assist.
Sure.
And that would add 1 more die to the roll.
Great.
Okay.
All right. I'll do it.
Okay. So let's see. Set position. This doesn't. I'm gonna say it's in the middle position. Risky. If you tick this guy off, it could go south quick. But the effect level with that flashback, I'm gonna say, is pretty high. At that point, when we agree on when we give the position and effect level, you can back out. Because like maybe narratively, oh, I was going to jump over this thing. Oh, it was 60 feet down, not 6 feet down. Yeah, you have that choice of bailing or doing something different. This case, I don't think you want to. But
I feel good enough about this.
Yeah.
I'm all right with it.
So,
so you're rolling
3
dice then.
Yep.
Okay, so you got a 5. That's
Yep.
pretty good, and you've got a good effect level. But you he does seem suspicious, maybe even suspicious by nature. And he says, "Okay, so you get the success. We don't want any globes." He seems confused, and he says,
"What if I can I try?"
Yeah,
something?
jump in.
I was going. I don't know if this would require a sway or not, but I would like to put my hand on his arm flirtatiously and say, "Sir, did you get that bowler from Dunridge and Sons?"
Okay, I think that'll nudge it over. Like, I can't buy anything. That flusters him. Hold on, and he yells back something. Come out here. I'll be deal with this. So you've at least accomplished. Somebody else is going to be drawn away from the main area.
Wonderful.
And
okay, Rip.
And we mentally high five each other.
Yes.
Yes.
Rip, your buddy's about to swing into some sort of undefined electroplasmic field in this window.
Yes.
What do you do?
I need a definition.
Yes.
2 definitions. One of the items that I always have on me because they're italicized are electroplasm vials.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what are those.
It's a vial of electroplasm.
So it actually contains electroplasm.
Yeah.
Already. Okay. So not empty that I could use to capture electroplasm.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. What is a fine lightning hook?
Hold on just a second. Fine lightning hook, a long 2-handed pole with a loop of heavy wire at the end connected to an electroplasmic capacitor, suitable for grappling a spirit and dragging it into a spirit bottle.
Cool.
Don't worry. What are the odds you're going to encounter a spirit?
That'll never happen. Well, okay. So I'm wondering. You say this is electroplasm, right? Like I'm wondering if I could use it to draw the electroplasm away and ground it.
Yeah. Okay. So this sounds like a fine use of attune. The attune action is anybody can do it. Not just the whispers, but it is attuning yourself to the electroplasmic field in which ghosts and strange energies and other weird stuff exists. And yeah, you can try to attune and reach out with your spirit hook here. And so what do you want to do? Try to short out the field or draw the power away from it, or what would the outcome be that you're looking for?
I was imagining drawing it out, but if shorting seems possible, that's even better because that just gets rid of it.
Okay, I love it. So that is your goal. This is clearly your attune action rating. It sounds like you guys your initial roll here was desperate, and I'm going to call this a desperate one. But the effect level is going to be really good, in part because of the gear you're using to reach out and do it. It is appropriate for this exact kind of task. So you can roll your attune. Remember, you could push yourself by spending 2 stress to get an extra die on this. Or Small William could try to aid you by, I don't know, bracing you or using his attune ability by spending 1 stress. Gun, however, is blithely swinging into danger.
My attune rating is 2, so I think it's pretty good.
Sure.
So would that give me 2 dice?
It will give you 2 dice. Yep. You could add a third by spending 2, or
I think I'll take it as is.
Okay.
I'm feeling pretty confident.
Okay.
I got a 4.
4. Okay, that's good. So, Gun, you as you're swinging in see a little burst of purple. Something lights up and then winks out of existence. And you swing in through the window after that as though nothing had happened. You know you just dodged something. You don't know what it is. And you swing into the room. However, for our whisper, Rip, the energy zaps back along this thing and shoots into you. And it's going to do you a level 1 harm. You are shocked, which is going to limit the effects of your ensuing actions.
Okay.
And William, you just see a gun swing in. Rip reaches out with this thing, and you see this burst of arcing purplish blue energy like zap, and Rip's teeth light up as it hits him for a minute. Now remember, I just gave you a bad thing. You could resist it if you want. That just risks stress.
I'm gonna resist it.
Okay. So this is going to be...
Ride the lightning, Rip.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. This is going to be a resolve resistance. So if you look at that set, attune, command, consorts, or consort,
I've only got
sway.
one score. I've got one score in one of those.
So 1 die, but remember, Sun Chasers always get a bonus die because there are some hard-boiled characters on their resist rolls.
All right.
So it's going to be 6 stress minus the higher of your 2 dice here. Very nice. You just take 1 stress. That's not so bad. So
That's not so bad.
You just kind of shake it off. Okay. Back at the front door. I just want to assess your plans here a little bit, Seymour and Silver. Is it your plan to hang out here as long as you can, trying to draw more people, or do you have an endpoint where you're gonna back away?
Oh no, we're gonna have a party. We're gonna have a party out there.
I would play it out as long as I felt we were getting away with it.
Okay, as long as you're getting away with it. Cool. He is joined by a dark-haired woman, looks fairly nondescript in sort of a leather jacket, waistcoat thing, except there's this large beetle on her cheek, just attached in there, and you see just a fine drop of blood leaking out from her cheek under the beetle. And she says, "You're a salesman? What do you want?"
And I will go into my sales pitch about these wonderful globes and how every house should have a globe, and that it's a sign of elegance.
Okay. So you have now 2 of them kind of occupied at the front door. And let's see. So, Gun, you are in this small room, and you see it just leads into what looks like a very large room. You'd be on a 2nd-story balcony. Do the Rip and William, do you come over too?
Yes.
Okay. And then looking out through that door, you see that... So this is an old noble entertainment hall. You are looking down on a dining hall in the Aurelian style, actually, as Silver has kind of recognized from the front door. There are still huge tables, some of them overturned. You imagine this was a place for fine banquets once upon a time in happier days in Duskwall. But right now, it is, especially at the front or at the edge of it, farthest away from the front door, it is a laboratory. They've set up a couple of tables, and they have, and this, William, you're salivating, all these gears and wires, and just, you could do so much with the stuff they have. Kludged together, wired from wall to wall, but everything heading into the next big room over on the other side of a big, what used to be fancy entryway. On the balcony that your room leads out to, you see that the balcony goes around this dining hall, but it also leads to a door that will lead you presumably into overlooking the other big room that is the focus of all the equipment. You're looking down, there's things arcing and sparking all over the place. The 3 remaining people down on the floor have not noticed you yet. Down on the ground at the workstation is a tall, bald man in a paisley waistcoat, a dapper green-suited man with goggles and a rifle slung over his shoulder, and a burly woman in sailor's garb with a scimitar at her side and a holstered handgun of some sort. What are you guys going to do?
I think William should just crawl along the floor by the wall, along the length of the balcony to that other door.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let me see, my burglary gear, I got some lockpicks. I got some vials of oil to silence squeaky hinges. So I may actually, even before can I listen at this door? I don't see anything D&D like that. I'd like to listen to this door. Do I hear anything beyond it?
It's really loud in this room with all the sparking and things like that. You kind of crawl up and press here, and you guys see that the attention of the people down on the floor, it's diverted. The work that they're doing is part of it, and then they every now and then they glance back to see what the hell's going on at the front door. So the distraction up front is not just drawing the two. It is helping distract these three from you. So you're able to, if you're careful, move around without a stealthy roll at this point.
And this whole area is filled with noise, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't need to. I'd like to. I'll look back to my companions and gauge whether they think I should open this door a crack and have a peek.
Gun nods towards the door.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. William's gonna attempt to just open that door just a crack, and he's still basically lying on the floor here, so he's just gonna open this door a crack and take a peek inside.
All right. Back at the front door, the beetle-cheeked woman says, "All right, I'll take a damn globe." She pulls out a coin, a small amount of coin that you, as a inexperienced globe salespeople, might imagine to be enough to buy a globe.
And I would say a fine estate such as this is only looking for one globe.
Normally, an estate of this size would at least have one in each room, but we have a special going right now with 3 for the price of 2.
All right. You could see her patience quickly eroding here. One globe, I pay, you leave. We have many tapestries.
Well, thank you. And I will take as much time like drawing up some ridiculous bill of sale as I can.
Okay.
I'm still fluttering my eyelashes at the wrestler guy, by the way.
I mean, if you want to try a consort roll at this point to see if you really have, I mean, you can distract him for free. If you want to try consorting to see if you get anything beyond that, I welcome you to try.
Why not? I'm in for so I have 1 point in consort. So
yeah, I'm gonna call this controlled. I don't see this as being a high risk roll. So yeah, you can roll your 1 again. Yep. Actually, hold the phones.
Okay.
I will offer you a devil's bargain.
Oh God.
You can get an extra. I just want to make sure I do this right. Extra die if you accept. But if you succeed, it's gonna work too well, and you're gonna have a puppy dog, and it's not generally gonna be a good thing. You can refuse that bargain, or you can take the extra die.
Don't refuse it. It's a devil's bargain.
Don't refuse it. Oh, fine. Okay.
No, don't listen to me.
No, you do what you want. Yeah, never listen to Colin.
I don't know. What do you think, Seymour?
You can give her a quick yes or no if you have an opinion on this. You can give her a nod or a shake of the head because you see what she's about.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her a wink and a nod.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'm 2d6 now?
So that gives you 2d6. Yep.
It's the devil. He's practically an angel.
Fine. Okay. Yeah. So you're experienced at this sort of consortation. You see, he's like really actually kind of fascinated and intrigued with you. This is a guy who's been beaten about the head in his life some, and
oh, thanks.
And he likes being treated nicely by a fancy looking globe sales lady. Okay. So yeah, he is somewhat taken with you. How taken? Oh, only time will tell.
Oh dear.
Okay, back up top. I actually kind of love that you guys split the party. I hadn't counted on that. This is kind of fun. Okay, so William opens up the door, and it's not locked.
Just crack.
It flies open at his kick. You peek through. It leads onto another room about the same size, actually, with another balcony overlooking it. And by the way, there are stairs in a couple of the corners of each of these leading up and down from the balcony to the floor. This appears to be a ballroom, or once was a ballroom. Now it's converted, more sparking light, more noise coming from here, and you can see like the 2 big rooms are connected. There is a big apparatus in here, and it's built around weirdly a bell that's suspended upside down. This is clearly, like, without even making a study roll, it's obvious. Anybody would know this. This is the focus of whatever the hell they're doing here. What are they doing? I don't know. But
Willie's in heaven here.
And you see a lot of crates around here, some big, some small, some metal, some wood, some, is that coffin sized? Yeah, you could say it's coffin sized, a couple of them. Yeah. So everything, and yeah, so that's all I'm going to give you for free as you glance in at this thing.
Okay, can I do like a study or a survey?
Yes, you can.
I think a survey, maybe.
Survey is a better fit for like evaluating a situation. Study would be you're going to, a bunch of blueprints and things like that. You can always do the non-perfect fit one, but the effect may not be as great, or the risk level might be higher.
So you think it should be a study?
I think. Oh no, I was saying I was thinking a survey would be the right.
Oh yeah, survey. Okay, I'm better at survey.
Oh, well, that's handy then. So describe what you're doing now. Is this just you're peeking from up here? Or are you going to go closer to the edge of the balcony and look down, or what are you doing?
I am sliding into the other. I'm still staying close to the floor. So this machinery and these crates and such, would they be to the right of me? And then there's a balcony continuing to the left of me again?
Oh, so you're up on the balcony. All the stuff I described is down on the ballroom floor.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, yeah.
So going through this door is just another balcony.
Taking you to the balcony of the ballroom from the balcony of the dining room, exactly. And all the action is on the main floor of these things.
I'm going to indicate to my companions that I think we should head through this door and make our way surreptitiously down this balcony.
Okay.
Should I maybe do a survey? Because can I glean more?
You could do that from up. Oh, you could do that from up here. In fact, in some ways, you think you might get a better sense from up here. You get the big picture.
I would rather do that. Okay, before I have them come to me.
Okay.
I'm gonna try this survey roll. I have 2 pips in survey, so guide me here.
All right, so you'd have 2 dice. You could spend 2 stress to give you a 3rd die, or one of your 2 buddies could kind of be pointing, oh, look at that over there, quietly.
Yeah, I can
spend
spare
a stress to help you out.
I can spare some stress. I can spare some stress. 2 stress?
2 stress to give you a 3rd die.
Okay, so I mark off 2 of those, and I will roll 3d6.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, wow.
Okay, so you've got 2 sixes. That is a critical success. So you have the best, as good an effect as you're going to get from this. Okay, you piece this all together. Well, you're even going to know what this thing does. That's pretty cool. So you see, this is a thing that's been put together over time. And whenever they try something new, they don't take the old thing away. So there's lots of wires that you think are superfluous at this point, and gears and black boxes and things like that are no longer germane to whatever the hell is happening here. But what is happening here is this reverse bell is hooked up to electroplasmic forces and generators and spirit vials that contain the energy from ghosts or demons, who knows, really. And what you realize with that critical success, you know exactly what it does. So in Duskfall, the spirit bells ring when somebody dies. And that alerts the spirit wardens to come and get them and cremate their bodies before the spirits come out. When this thing is working, it negates that. It creates a dead zone, you're guessing of at least a few blocks, so that when somebody dies, the spirit wardens don't come. And the ghost does come out to do its own thing.
They're creating ghosts?
Seems quite possible, yeah. Why? Well, there's lots. I mean, you could just create a ghost and let it do its thing. But you know that, and kind of everybody knows, the energy of ghosts can be captured and harnessed to run weird machines and do strange experiments. And you know that bell is clearly a very elaborate and carefully made thing. What you also know is wrecking this is going to take some doing because of its distributed nature. They could replace the bell. They could replace any bit of it. So it'll be a 4 clock of steps to destroy the thing if you proceed to do that.
Well, I do have my fine wrecking tools with me.
Mm-hmm.
And Madame Valyova, or is that her name?
She was your employer, yes?
Yes, she did stipulate that we do render it inoperable.
True.
So William will be doing his damnedest
Okay.
to render it inoperable. But let's see what we can lift from here first.
Okay. Now, while he is surveying the scene, Gun, you see now down on the floor the person with the rifle, basically the two non-scientist looking people who are remaining in the room. The one with the rifle and the dapper, the dapper fellow with the rifle and the burly woman in sailor's garb. One of them looks at a timepiece and looks like, oh, it's time for their patrol. So you see them starting to walk over to the steps leading up from the big dining room up to the balcony that you guys sort of just came out of. And you, Gun, you know how this kind of thing works. You're on guard duty. Eventually you're going to go on patrol, look around the building, make sure all entries are secure. Looks like that's what they're doing.
Okay.
Rip, before Gun does anything, Rip, you once again out of the corner of your eye see the glimmer of not just the electroplasmic activity in the room. You see, is it just imagination? You see a silhouette, a humanoid silhouette, sort of wink in and out near the bell. It's kind of floating around and then it disappears. Gun, what are you doing?
I think I try to get. Okay, so let me reestablish the scene here. Badger is setting up his wrecking tools to try to take down the bell apparatus, right?
This is all you see the patrol start while he's like surveying the scene and like, yeah, that.
Okay. I would like to try to lead the group in a prowl roll to just like hide ourselves while the patrol passes.
Okay, so you could bop back into one of those side rooms and hope they don't go into it. You could head into the ballroom and down the steps there. You've got a couple different directions you could go with it.
I think the side room's just for now.
Okay. Does that sound good? You guys want to follow that prowl?
Sure, for now.
Okay. And Rip, did you want to do anything with the information you just got?
Well, it says I can force a nearby ghost with my compel ability to appear and obey a command. How obvious is that?
Depends on how well you roll. If you really pull off a great roll, you can do it with subtlety. If not, there might be some noise and hullabaloo.
I would mind so much hullabaloo. At least it might distract things.
Mm-hmm.
Screw it. I want to try it.
Okay.
He's too excited.
All right, go for it before we do this
these ghosts.
sneak thing.
It just says I
So this
I get attune, so I roll my attune, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And
and again, you have the option of spending stress to try to make it work better.
Yeah, I really want this to work. So
okay.
How do you burn down stress at some point, or just not?
Oh, that's where your vices come in after this.
Oh, right. I'm going to burn 2 stress then to give myself, was it 1 extra die?
Yeah, so that'll bring up to 3, I believe.
Yep, I'm at 3 stress, correct.
And you're compelling, then you're okay, great.
So that I have an attune of 2 plus 1 dice, so 3 dice, yes?
Correct.
Okay. 5.
It goes okay, that is successful. What command are you giving to this ghost that you see? It takes form near you and shows up. What are you going to try to have it do?
Oh, attack the patrol.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's a 5, so something bad is going to happen to you.
Nothing bad will happen. Nothing bad. Let me roll to compel you. Nothing bad will happen.
Okay, roll compel GM. Consequences. Sorry, I'm just like my options here.
Nope, it works.
Okay. Oh, I know what it does. Okay. I know what it does, but it won't happen right away. So you see, and actually all of you up top see, and actually from the front door, you guys see this too. So behind the two, as you're making the exchange cash for Globe, you see a couple other people behind there seem to set off on a patrol. And then, oh yes, you see from the front door a form take shape behind them and hold out claws and try to slash into the 2 patrol people, catching them rather by surprise. And the 2 in front of you, the wrestler and the beetle woman, hear the clutter and look around, and they say, "Somebody's in here." Silver, what are you gonna do?
Say, I didn't hear anything. Are you sure?
Yeah, she goes to slam the door in your face and pulls out some kind of device from a pocket as she turns.
Okay, how do we stop the door from... Seymour, help me. Can't you jam a globe in the door or something?
I mean, your
all about the
large
globes.
friend likes you pretty well, doesn't he?
Okay, so can I don't know, what can I
You've got him swayed pretty or consorted pretty well here. So what do you want him to do as you bat your eyes?
I want him to convince his little friend, the beetle woman, that everything's fine.
He looks confused, but he grabs the door and stops it from slamming, and she turns back to try to deal with the strange ghostly apparition that has come out. Okay, up top, that was good. The good news is you got your ghost to attack. The bad news is you attracted the attention of the other ghost on patrol. The three of you upstairs feel a chill come through you, and this one doesn't form up into like full on human size. You see, it's more disparate and dissipated, and you start to feel yourself freezing, literally and figuratively, as it tries to freeze you into place. So you were working on that prowl gun, before the situation changed. Do you want to change what you're doing?
Yeah, I have a question that's kind of like universe based.
Yeah.
If I want to shoot a ghost, would I need electroplasmic ammunition?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, hey, well, would you look at that? So the ghost materializes. Gun says, "Ah, shucks," and we were being so quiet too. She just brandishes both of her fine pair of pistols,
Oh boy.
loaded up with electroplasmic ammunition, and just lets loose on this fucking thing.
All right. Awesome. So that is going to be your. Let's see. Which action would you use? So often for shooting at range, it's going to be a hunt roll. Is kind of the most common gun one, I would say.
Yeah, great. I've got 2 pips in gun.
Go for it. So you've got a 4. You shoot the ghost. And by the way, downstairs now, the sailor woman has reeled forward and is turned around and is like shooting wildly with her gun at the ghost that attacked them. So that's going to help a little bit with your noise level there. So you hit the ghost and it flies away, but you have attracted its attention and you take a consequence. It converges on you for just an instant before it dissipates from the electrostatic energy you just shot into it. And it's going to give you the level 1 consequence of frozen. You're going to have a little bit of frostbite, and it's going to slow you down for the remainder of the encounter. Unless, of course, you try resisting it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to resist it.
Okay.
How's that do again?
Okay, so this is going to be... Yeah, I think this is going to be a prowess roll. So you look at whatever skills you have at least 1 dot in under prowess. So finesse, prowl, skirmish, rack.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say prowess. So how many is that?
So I've got at least 1 pip in 3 of the 4.
Wow. Okay, so you've got 3 dice plus your 1 die just from being a sun chaser on resistance rolls. So you can roll 4 dice. You're going to take 6 stress minus the highest number you roll.
Then I'm going to follow this up with another question. What exactly is a Spirit Bane charm?
You have many questions, Mr. Sparkle. Hold on.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. There's just a lot of different gear in different places here. That is... yeah, that's going to actually help you here. That's going to give you... We'll say that gives you an extra die to resist this this ghostly attack. So now you got
I'm up to like
5 dice. Yeah.
I didn't realize it, but I done made a Ghostbuster.
Okay, so you resist that puny, ghostly coldness with no stress taken. Okay, William, shit's going down, but the humans downstairs seem more interested in their ghost breaking free and attacking them than
I'm
noticing you guys.
I'm thinking of dropping a rope from this here balcony and propelling myself down to this machine.
Okay, yeah. So you do that. You've got your... Right, so that's.
I got my climbing gear. I've got several coils of rope. So
yeah, and there's railings intact enough on the balcony. There's something you can anchor to like in no time at all. You're an expert knot tire, I imagine.
Yes.
So yeah, you drop down to the floor. Are you interacting with the machine in any way?
I need a refresher. We are just doing this purely for the coin, right? We don't need to we're not stealing nothing from here, are we?
Well, we can steal as
it's
much
your
as we
discretion.
want.
If you want to steal, you can, but obviously it's going to take extra time to do that.
Otherwise, I think I am going to break out my fine wrecking tools and have at it. Have
Okay.
at this machine.
All right. So that, gosh, what do you think you want to roll? You're trying to wreck something, William. Gosh,
I think I'll roll wreck.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of
Try and
sense.
sway it.
I have 2 in wreck, and when I wreck, I'm a saboteur. So when I wreck, my work is very, very quiet.
Oh, nice. Okay, and your wrecking tools are going to increase the effect in terms of the number of ticks you get on the clock here.
All right, let me check the book for my fine wrecking tools. There's an
Okay.
awful lot. There's so much to look up.
And you,
Record
Rip,
chip.
you chased away that ghost. Brent shot the other one. Gun shot the other one that was coming for you. If you want, you could follow William down and help him destroy this thing. Game term, spending a stress to give him an extra die if you care to, or maybe you have other things in mind.
No, let it go.
Okay. And then William can roll 2 dice for wreck. You can spend 2 stress to get an extra die.
I've got so much stuff in here. I'm just transcribing what I've got in my bag of tricks here. Vials of acid. Oh, I love it.
Oh, I want a vial of acid.
You
Even
always
though I
want to
suck
vial
at
of
throwing
acid.
them. Yeah, except I.
How
suck
much
at
did it
throwing
do you in the cornfield?
them. It's absolutely useless. It landed nowhere near Brendan Carmody and burned up some vermin on the ground.
He was a hideous monster, but he was still, in our heart, he was still dreamy.
With his cloven hoof.
He was also in his cloven hoof. He was also he was still in her heart and lungs and brain.
Yeah.
This was our
DNA.
play by forum Call of Cthulhu.
Yes, and I died horribly.
She
I was
met-
the
she
only one
met-
who died.
She met a very, very gruesome end.
Okay.
She was devoured from within by vermin.
So 2 dice. Are you spending the extra for the third?
Yes. But I am on a clock here now, am I? So
that's the clock means you're going to get tick marks toward destroying the overall thing. The better you roll, the more tick marks, and the wrecking thing is taken into account here.
Okay. I am going to take 2 more stress and roll 3 dice.
Nice.
And what are we doing? Oh, we'll start off with the spark torch cutter. We'll start cutting into this thing. Yes.
Ooh. Okay.
That is a 6.
Oh, you've got. All right. So you just go nuts quietly, and you're able to, because you're small, you're able to duck behind boxes and things like that, so they don't see the extra light from your cutter. And you're just like, oh, there's a key part. Bzz, bzz, bzz. So you actually get 3 of the 4 ticks you need with that roll right there, which is pretty sweet. And that's a 6, so I don't even have to give you a negative consequence.
Even better.
Okay.
Kill 'em.
At the front door, you guys, since you're watching for it, just saw the little flicker of a rope as your buddy went down there, and you see William is in there, you presume, doing a number on all this gear. Your distraction is paying off now, but I don't know how much longer. Do you want to try to create a bigger distraction or what?
Well, yeah, I have to. They have to take their post-purchase survey.
Okay. And Silver, do you have an angle you want to chase here?
I maybe could get my little friend here to show me around the parlor, and just the front room.
Okay. All right. Yeah. He
to find a good place to put the globe.
Okay. Yeah. So Beetle Woman came in already. And is and she is with a device trying to get the claw ghost under control. Gunman and Sailor Woman, you see claw marks on their backs, and they're trying to patch themselves out. And as they do it, they're yelling at the tall guy in the paisley outfit, who appears to be the scientist in charge here. And now you see if these guys stop doing what they're doing, they're gonna spot your buddies any second now. they've had a good run so far, but these guys are on alert now. Beetle Woman is ignoring any attempt at a survey here as she tries to get the ghost under control. Silver, are you going to try to interfere with them anyway as you get the tour, or are you just keeping your guy distracted?
I'm just keeping my guy distracted.
Okay. All
We
right.
don't need anybody else. We don't need,
Rip, you see, wow, William's good at his job. He's tearing this thing apart down there. What are you going to do?
The ghost is still there?
The cold ghost seems to have dissolved, at least for the moment. It was, you think, given your skills in these matters, his special plasmic bullet dispersed it, but didn't destroy it. So it's going to be reforming soon.
But not right away.
Right. And looking down, you see William is hiding right now behind what looks like a coffin as he's like burning away at some of the gear.
And how is the patrol still occupied?
Yeah, they just got clawed in the back by the ghost you sent after them. So they're like trying to like bandage each other up quick and yelling at the scientist as though for some reason the tall guy, as though he had lost control of the creatures.
All right. I want to jump down to to William and quote unquote help him by scavenging as much interesting gear off this device as I can manage.
Good man.
All right. Let us say this would be, well, you can grab a little bit of stuff, of course, no problem. But if you want to put some effort into it and make a roll, you might get some good stuff. That exposes you to risk of being seen while you're doing it and that sort of
That's just too much of it. No, I have to risk it.
Okay. So what kind of skill do you think you would use for such a activity?
I'm going to say this has to, so I think any of my insights might work, but I don't think I have enough time for study necessarily.
Probably
so
not.
How about survey?
Survey might work. Yeah, like you're kind of just trying to pick the best stuff. I can see that.
Either that or hunt.
I could see Tinker working well, like as you're trying to like figure out what works and take it apart.
Tinker would be appropriate, but I'm gonna argue for survey because I actually have a pip there at least.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
In other words, like
I'll throw out one high risk, high reward option for that.
Okay, let's hear it.
Attune can help you find the most electroplasmy, magic-y, weird stuff. But you would be potentially opening yourself up to it and getting bad things happening to you.
No. Consequences be damned. If I get the best stuff that way, absolutely.
Okay. So that's an attune, which I believe you have 2 dots in, unless you want to.
I do.
Stress it up.
Nah, let's not stress it this time.
Okay.
I'm trying to be just quick.
All right.
Got a 5.
Okay. I'm going to say, so first, the good news, you find some good stuff. Vials of electroplasm and just really unique equipment that could only work with weird kind of electroplasmic stuff. It could be valuable for home experimentation and projects, or it could be sold for 2 coin worth, which is a nice little haul. However, in taking one thing off, you disconnect something without realizing where it is going and connected to. And that alerts our scientist guy that somebody is here and tampering with stuff. And he is going to he's going to pull the fail-safe switch. Gun, you see the 2 patrol people clawed in the back. They're yelling at the guy, and he holds up his hand like, silence. And they just shut the hell up. And he turns, and you see, like, up on a little post that they put up on a table, there's just like one big lever. Like, like one of those, you'd pull it to set off the dynamite charge or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't know what it does, but it's not something good.
Shoot it.
Do you want to react to that in any way?
And I'm sorry, to clarify, the scientist is going towards the lever, or?
He's reaching for the lever to pull it right now. Like he, all of a sudden, you don't know this, but when Rip disconnected something on the other side, he suddenly became alert, like, this is more than a simple ghost malfunction. This is something big that requires me to do the bad thing.
This is a very loaded question, but do I have a clear shot?
Oh, yes. You are up on the balcony looking down into this wide open room.
Right.
You've got all manner of clear shot if you want it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to literally, you know what? I'm just going to take him out. I'm just going to kill him.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot to kill.
All right. So this will be sounds like a hunt roll to me. I don't know. You can disagree
Yep.
if you want.
I have no desire to.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Get a 6.
Okay. So yeah, you and the people in this room, so Silver and Seymour, you see this bullet hole appears right in this guy's forehead.
Whoa.
And time seems to freeze for a minute. And he stands there. All the noise is still going on, but you hear clear as day as he stands there for a moment. Pity, I was rather enjoying this body. And then the life goes out of him and the body just slumps to the floor. So the person with the rifle unslings it and is looking around for whoever just shot at him. Yeah. And the sailor woman, kind of wounded beetle woman, is looking around. I assume, William, you're still wrecking away?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, will a simple rec roll, could I continue with that? Or is this
You can
gonna
keep going
require
with
me
it.
to build something and
Oh,
take
no.
this thing out?
Oh, no, you don't need to build anything. You're destroying.
Okay. Well, I was thinking of manufacturing an explosive device with an electromagnetic battery.
That's
and
even
some
better.
wire and
That's even
vials of
cooler in
acid.
some ways. I mean,
Yes, it is.
we could say that's what you're doing as your rec roll.
I was gonna probably tinker that
Tinker
to
it together. I
manufacture
love it.
that. Tinker it together, and
That
I'm
makes more
going
sense.
to manufacture some kind of electroplasmic acid bomb. And if it needs to be some kind of anti-electroplasmic acid bomb, then that's what I'm making.
I love it. It's an anti-electroplasmic.
So, because while William may understand what this machine does, I don't.
Right.
I am going to take stress again. So that gives me, I am now at 6 stress.
Okay.
I am rolling 3d6.
That sounds right. Ooh, a 6. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna work. And you're able to cobble, you realize one of the things you just attached as a timing component, you can set it to go off right now, or you can give yourself up to 3 minutes lead time with that 6.
Ooh. Well, I don't think it's going to cause a huge amount of damage. It's going to be hopefully enough to take out this machine.
Mm-hmm. And what are you targeting the bell itself? Like, because if you finish that thing off, yeah, that's gonna leave it.
That would be my idea. I would then, yeah. So my vials of acid are gone, my wire's gone, my electroplasmic battery is gone, and then I will use up my clamps in order to clamp it to the bell.
Nice.
Give him the clamps.
The clamps, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put a 90-second timer on it.
Nice. Okay. So you've got that there. Silver, you see, and you're further into the room now, and you and your wrestler buddy are not far from the rifle guy, and you see he's scanning the room. You, of course, looking for him, spotted gun up on the balcony, kind of in a shadowy position. So if you're not looking, you're not going to spot him right away, but it won't be long. What do you do?
Well, obviously, I'm going to guide my friend, my new friend, away from spotting gun.
Okay.
Maybe we're going to go into another room where it's not quite as noisy.
Okay.
We're still holding. We're still
Someplace
holding
you
the
can
globe.
have a little bit more privacy.
Right, but I'm still holding the globe because my whole ruse is that we're going to find somewhere to put the globe.
Okay, so you lead wrestler guy away. Seymour, the rifle person, looking around for a shot here. And now, and I'll point out, beetle-faced woman has the ghost under control, and you see her gesturing toward it to do something.
So, in the words of Cypress Hill, in recognition of the day, cock the hammer. It's time for action.
Okay.
And I am going to pull out my large weapon, which is a double barrel shotgun that's broken in half in my suitcase, and slap that together and take a shot at the rifleman with it.
Okay. Yeah. So a lot hunting or shooting people from surprise often uses hunting. If you're like getting up at point blank range, it could be a skirmish.
I would say I have a tick in both of those, and I'm just doing it straight from the doorway. I'm just going to slap it together and take a shot at the rifleman with my shotgun. So I'll just do a hunt roll.
Okay. And so you said you
I'll
had one
take
die.
stress on that.
You're going to spend
And
the
I'll
2
take
stress.
2 stress?
But if you want for the extra die, if you're helping somebody else, it's 1 stress.
Gotcha.
If you're
Okay.
boosting yourself, it's 2.
Then I will take 2 stress.
Okay.
And I will do that.
So 2 dice then.
Okay. All right.
All right.
6.
So just as the rifle is coming to bear on gun up top, you like, and the rifle guy goes spinning away, and his rifle clatters to the floor as he like staggers and slumps onto a table. William, are you giving any indication to the to the team that this thing's ready to blow?
Yes, I am. I assume I am going to go for a wreck. I don't know if Rip wants to help me out here at all.
You know what? Your successful tinker roll has this thing. It's gonna blow it and do the damage. That's not gonna require the tinker did the job. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, then I am definitely. I am signaling to Rip and to Gun that it is time to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Okay. Let's take everybody in turn now. Rip, what are you doing? You got the sign. You've got some gear, some sweet gear.
Oh, all right, I'll run.
Or do you want to do something fun? You don't have to run.
No, it's just I'm trying to think about what his motivations are. I think he's only just he wants to make sure he has time to look at what he's got.
Okay.
90 seconds is a lot of time.
He'll go ahead and leave.
Okay. And
it's not like he's the most physically adroit specimen.
Okay. And are you guys going? Are you 3 or are you 2 up top going out the way you came in?
You know what? Is the front door where our friends are visible and they're occupying their other things?
Yeah, it's kind of a chaotic scene down there. I'm not going to lie to you. You've got the scientist body slumped down, a couple gunshots, woman controlling ghost getting ready to do something with it. Sailor looking woman
controlling a ghost.
What's that?
A woman's controlling a ghost?
Yeah, the woman with the beetle on her face gestured with something. She regained control over the claw ghost that you had briefly sent to attack.
No. We're gonna get control of that ghost.
Okay. So you're trying to reattune it?
I'm gonna recompel it.
Okay, what do you want it to do?
I want it to attack her.
Okay.
That'll learn
her. So you are attuning once again.
Yes. May I?
Please do. Actually, don't finish that. I'll give you a devil's bargain.
Okay.
You can have an extra die, but you're going to attract unwanted attention from the Electroplasmaverse. It's not going to hurt you right away, but it's going to start a clock of ghosts that are going to be taking an unnatural interest in you in the future. You can refuse that if you want.
That just sounds like fun. We'll take it.
Okay. Devil's bargain away for 3 dice.
Oh,
okay.
No.
All right. Wow.
That was terrible.
That was quite terrible. Okay, so first of all, you're going to get a couple consequences here. From that devil's bargain, start a clock on page 2 of your sheet that says ghosts are coming. And give me it divided into 6 portions and make 2 tick marks on that. So as you dabble in forces beyond the pale, that could come back and bite you in the ass. That's the long-term consequences of that devil's bargain. But for right now, the bad thing you did was get Beetle Woman's attention, and you see your ghost former buddy just converge into humanoid form and come at you and slash away at you just brutally.
That's bad news.
And that's going to be a level 2 consequence of all slashed up, which you can resist to bring it down to a level 1, all scratched up.
I'm going to resist.
Okay. So again, actually, since it's a ghost, I'm going to give you a choice. You can use your prowess 1 and count whichever ones you have at least 1 dot in, or your resolve 1, because that includes a tune and it would be resistant to ghostly. Your choice.
Same either way for me.
How many?
It's 1. I have 1 die plus the 1 from the.
Okay. So 2 resistance dice. So your stress will be 6 minus the higher of
5.
5.
So
okay, only 1 stress. So that could have been worse. So now you're just marking a 1 all scratched up from this ghost. Okay. So down on the dance floor or the dining floor, Silver and Seymour, you see Gunn go back out the way he came in. you actually glimpse William. How are you going to get out, William? Are you climbing back up or what?
I don't know. I'm just running up the stairs.
Okay, so you
I'm gonna run up the stairs.
William's making a break for it. It looks like they've done what they need to do back there. You saw the woman shoot the ghost back up at Rip. It looks like the rest of your party thinks the mission is accomplished and are heading out. What are you going to do?
I'm going to have my friend escort me to the door. I look at my watch and say, "Oh, is that the time?" And I tell him I have to leave, and I pass him one of my many fake cards.
Okay. All right. You head for the door, and he says, "I'm coming with you."
And that's why I hand him the card.
Yeah, no, he's coming with you.
No.
Devil's bargain, my friend.
Oh, no.
He really wants to leave with you. Seymour, what are you doing? Silver's headed out the door with her new friend.
Yeah.
We're
going to add him to our thugs friends.
Right, now we have to hang out with Silver's boyfriend all the time.
This is Legacy all over again.
Yeah.
You know what? having a bit of muscle at the door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kind of look at Silver and just kind of shrug. And so our associates all look to be making their way out. I would probably. So is Silver? Which side of the door is Silver on?
She's headed out the door right now.
Yeah. I would
let her come out the door, and I would close the door, and I would back to the. I'm assuming there was some sort of walkway we walked up. Mm-hmm. I would back down the walkway, and when I hit the street, I would hide my gun under my coat and walk away.
Okay. So William's device goes off. Rips is staggering back from the ghost thing, but then energy starts arcing all over the remaining bits and wires. Beetle-faced woman says, "Forget them. Salvage the equipment." And the sailor woman and her rush in and try to see, but William, they're not going to get much useful out of that. Distracted by that, and now not controlling the ghost to attack you, you can all beat a retreat if you want.
I say yes.
Yeah,
I say we vacate this. We vacate this. Count. I mean, this is Count Spurlock. He's gone to
Lord Spurlock.
Lord Spurlock, whatever. They're all the same. Yeah, we don't want to be around. We don't want to be around when he catches word of this.
That's probably true. Okay, so you guys make your escape and head back to the Honeycomb hideout. Now, I will say it's 9:30. The next thing we would do is collect your reward and do downtime activities, which can take a little bit of time. So we could, if people need to be done at 9:30, which I think we typically do, we could leave it right here, the mission proudly accomplished, and pick it up with the fruits of your labor and your downtime activities, and then figuring out a next job.
I like the sound of that, because then we can, focus on learning that portion of the game fresh.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Because there's a lot. There's a lot to take in this game, but it's pretty damn awesome.
I think it's pretty cool.
I love the decisions it affords you. It's really cool.
And cool. you guys may have got your cool ectoplasmic mechanical stuff or whatever, but I got us a thug. I got us a bodyguard.
True story.
You got us a love thug.
Well, I mean,
I got cap of a bitch. That was
I will say the thug was the consequence of a devil's bargain. So there will be downsides. He will not be a pure boon.
No, he will be a jealous bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
A jealous boon.
Something like that.
Well, we may have to do something about that at some point, but anyway.
I'm going to look into what the leech can do in his downtime, because I believe he can do quite a lot. So
there's a lot of fun stuff you can do during downtime. I'll go through that next time. And then you can also think about the main way the game is supposed to work, if you did it for a while, is you guys would kind of set the agenda of what you want your crew to be doing. And then I would come up with missions or jobs in response to that. You could say, our job is we want to attack Lord Skurlock, or expand our turf, or steal some really valuable equipment to build a cool machine, or whatever. And then I'd like maybe
if you railroaded us one more time.
Okay,
I think
that is doable too.
I mean, of course, I will bow to the team, but not very far because I'm tiny. But
kind of. taking one more step here in that direction sounds totally fine to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah,
great.
just to get our feet under us a little bit more.
Okay.
I wholeheartedly recommend the book. By the way, the book's really, really cool.
Yeah,
It's pretty cheap too. It's
I actually have the hardcover now.
yeah,
in
me too.
preparation for this.
It's well worth picking up. It's a good read.